Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mayfield and Friends, episode 19. Today I'm with Molly, otherwise known as Mollaymusic. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Molly, and tell us who you are, what kind of account you play.
Hi, I'm Molly. I play a UIM. If you hear my dog barking as well, that's Buckbeak. Um, and I am a no death bank, no death pile UIM. Basically, just don't use the death mechanics. I also don't use a looting bag. Yeah.
And what kind of account does Buck play?
Uh, Also a UIM because he's a badass.
I respect it. I respect it.
Yeah.
So, playing UIM itself is already, in general, I don't know, difficult game mode in some eyes. So, what made you
hmm
decide to restrict yourself further on top of the regular game mode with the no death bank, no death pile mechanics, no looting bag?
So initially, it wasn't a set restriction. It was actually when I started streaming that I had to set it as a restriction. Because I started playing this account 2 years before I even started streaming, and I had never death banked or death palled, and it was always something I wasn't interested in. I did actually try and use a looting bag for a little while, but yeah, it ended up being more of a pain without death banking and death piling. Um, so yeah, it was just initially it wasn't a set restriction. I started streaming and uh, people would hop in the stream and say, "Oh, why don't you go do this or that?" And I would say, "Well, I don't have enough space in my inventory right now." And they say, "Well, just go death pile, just go death bank." And I was like, "What?" What confused me at first was that the community, like I had been playing a UIM for 2 years on and off, um, I played it more casually when I first started, or before I started streaming. I would, play for a few months, take a few months off, and I wasn't really a part of the community yet. So I didn't understand that people kind of expected UIMs to do these things. That it's like in a lot of people's minds, it's a part of the UIM game mode to death pile and death bank. Like that's how you get through the game mode. But it's those mechanics stress me out so badly. I've never ever done them on my account, and it's not something I want to do. So to help viewers understand that it's not just like me not wanting to do those, I had to declare it as like a set restriction. I felt like then people understood to not push it, because
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah, I would get kind of pestered.
It's almost like setting a boundary. It's like, hey, like we don't. There's a thing here, and we don't go over it because that's just what I want.
Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, so it for me it's like I don't see them as mechanics that you have to use. Like I feel like a lot of UIMs see it as the only way to play the game mode, but for me my brain doesn't consider them an option. So I'm more comfortable instead of risking my stuff in a death bank and then running to do content and potentially wiping, I would rather intentionally wipe, like intentionally store everything I can, alch anything that's left over, clear my inventory that way and like get rid of it. It's in my control, rather than throwing it in a death bank. That like I die a lot. I'm not the greatest at this game. I die a lot. So if I put my stuff in a death bank, that would be a huge fucking risk.
No, I absolutely get it. As a level 3, I use a looting bag, but I don't death bank for any reason
Mhm.
ever.
That's good.
Um, I the only time I've ever done it is I was storing some items I just didn't care about. So I was like, if I die here, because they were untradeable items, I think I had like the Abyssal Lantern and stuff like that from Guardians of the Rift, and I was like, I'll go back eventually get the outfit before I finish rune crafting.
Uh-huh.
But if I lose it, I already have the rune crafting cape. I literally don't care.
Yeah.
And I knew I had some pouches in there too, and I was like, I can just get those back from the minigame. It does not matter to me. And
Yeah.
then I did die, and I was like, well,
Oh shit.
this is why I don't do those things, for the sole
Mhm.
reason that like I was literally just walking to do a clue scroll, and like a level 64 wolf in a multi combat zone just
Right.
smacked me out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
I
didn't even think about that with 3 combat, there's so many NPCs that probably just work you when you're minding your own business.
Even at like Zaya Runecrafting, there's one skeleton there. If you AFK too long, that skeleton can hit fours. It'll 3-hit you.
Oh shit.
So I don't mess around anymore.
Yeah.
After I almost wiped once. I got very close, and I almost lost my dragon axe, which took me 120
Ooh.
like 3 million fire making to get.
Uh-huh.
And I was after that moment, I was like, I'm never taking the chance again, because this dragon axe is I don't need it,
Uh-huh.
but having it is like, whew, I love that
Yeah.
thing. Just how much time it took me to get it was one of those things that, like, you know, people joke like, why
Oh,
don't you
for
go to
sure.
DKs? And I'm like, I can't.
Yeah,
I
you
can't do
literally
that.
can't. I've never even done DKs still, and my account is capable of it. I'm just, that shit is scary, you know?
I lost when Group Hardcore came out. I lost one of our lives at DKs on a trio trip
Oh, rip.
because I misprayed, and I think Prime hit me like a 40 on off of Mage Prayer, and I was like, well, and then I think
Yeah.
and then I switched to Mage, and then the Ranger hit us, and I was like, well, there I go.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Needless to say, that group did we did disband after like we all died. We said we weren't
Yeah.
going to, and then we did.
That's what happened with our group team as well, pretty much. Yeah, not all of our members wanted to keep going after we lost all the lives, so we just called it. But
And I
made
think
some of my best friends ever, like through Group Iron, so
who did
that's
you
cool.
all play with?
It was me, Potato, Beggar, Hamzy, and Radish. So like huge fucking gamers.
A lot of garden vegetables in there.
Yeah, right. When we were trying to come up with a group name, that's what I kept getting stuck on, was like wanting something garden related, because half of our team is vegetables, potato and radish. You know.
Absolutely. What the team name end up being?
Gillinor Goofs, because we're all just silly.
I love that though. My team name, we went for something cool. We were just villains.
Oh hell yeah.
And we ended up like, I think we sat at like, because we were a 3-man, and I think we sat at like top 5 almost like the entire time we played.
Nice.
We were all super nerds. We all still are
Yeah.
super nerds, but we all just play our own accounts now.
Yeah, we ended up not going super far with it. Like we at least as far as late game content, I'm too addicted to my UIM that I wasn't fully in it. Like I was super excited to try it and to get to play with a group, you know, but what ended up being too much for me was actually the bank. And I know that sounds like I'm just, you know, trying to be macho or something, but like I literally can't function with a bank in this game. I get so stressed out by having to organize it, and like because I can't decide where things should go. Like when I come across an item that could fit into 2 of my tabs that I've made, I lose my shit. I'm like, I don't know where to put this. I don't know which tab it should go in. Like I genuinely get overwhelmed by it. I'm so used to the UIM gameplay.
No, I absolutely understand that. Like moving from like, not like, I have side projects I've created over the years, and having like a hardcore or like another iron or whatever, and whatever restriction I have on it, like having to organize the bank, it like stops me from playing the game for like an hour, because I'm like, it
Yeah.
has to look perfect, and then I'll mess it up like a month later. So I'm like,
Right.
at this point, like I tried to organize my looting bag for a long time, like ores in one spot, and then and at this point I'm just like, doesn't matter. Just throw
Right.
it all in there. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, like I've gotten good at keeping my inventory nice and organized the way I like it, but that's 28 spots, you know? That's not very many spots you have to deal with.
Yes, and now that's the ultimate question for those of you for those people watching who are not familiar with Molly. Molly, looting bag, what spot? Or not looting bag, sorry. Like your main items. What
My
are they?
main
What are
items.
they? Are you a top inventory person or a bottom inventory person?
Bottom inventory.
Thank
Definitely.
you.
I do my stuff in the bottom. It like the bottom is always set, and then when I've got like a little bit extra stuff, it goes up the right side pretty much. Like I start to build up the right side. So sometimes it ends up looking a bit like a staircase kind of, but the bottom is like, yeah, my set shit.
I love that. I am also a bottom
Yeah.
person, but mine goes like row by row. So like
Mhm.
it just like for those who, like, anybody watching the video, It's like all my important things at the bottom, and then like all my winter Todd crates, they just stack at the bottom, and they keep going
Mm-hmm.
up and up and up and up, and then
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I always since I'm a big clue doer, anytime I have clues stacked, I don't open them off stream. I always save them for stream. So I make like a protective bubble around caskets when I'm waiting to open some caskets on stream. Like I try and put them in a protective bubble of items that I know I'm not gonna like go and directly click anytime soon, just so I don't accidentally misclick a casket.
Every content creator's worst fear: stacking up 1,000 caskets, opening that one. No, now it's
Getting the
one
good
more
shit.
clue. Now it's one more
Yep.
clue I gotta do.
Mhm.
So that actually brings me into my first question, and it is not my own. It is from the Twitter thread that we created,
Okay.
which reminds me, all of Molly's social content will be in the description, as well as my Twitter from now on. So that way, if I have a guest on and I have questions, because like the viewer questions is kind of a new thing. Um,
Mhm.
so the first question comes from, I'm gonna mispronounce this name for sure. Wakula44
Yeah.
on Twitter.
Okay.
Uh, kind of a redundant question based on what we just talked about, but I want to lead in with it. Right? He asks,
Okay.
any easy clue enjoyers, ham hideout enthusiasts, even.
Yeah, I am a big fucking fan of easy clues. I'm fully addicted, like no joke. I can't seem to help myself. I'll be like working on an important grind and then find myself back in the ham storeroom somehow. Well, just the regular ham room, but um mostly the reason for that, I'm trying to complete the easy clue log, and I am now 2 items away from completing the easy clue log. Like I just got a new item a few weeks ago, the Team Cape Eye. So I'm even more addicted again, just like wanting to grind that shit out. Yeah,
So,
I've spent a little time there.
what was your clue count for
Right
easies?
for easies, it's 2,972.
Getting close to breaching 3K, I see.
Yeah. And my so I've got my loot tracker. The only thing I care to always keep updated on my loot tracker is the easy clues and the ham members, because I've now pickpocketed from 131k ham members.
So does that make you a follower of the Humans Against Monsters, or does that mean you hate,
No,
or does
I'm
that
a
mean you?
hater.
Okay, so that's why you're stealing from them. I
Yeah.
get it.
I actually grew up in a cult, so this is my way of taking revenge, getting some revenge on cult members. Just
You're
stealing all the raw chicken from their pockets. Still don't know why they have raw chicken in their pockets. It's weird as fuck, but
they're cultists. What I mean,
yeah,
what
right?
what's to understand? Raw chicken, cultists, it just all makes sense.
Yeah.
So what like when did you find out it was easy clues for you? There are many things in this game that does it for people. For many people, it's number go up. For many people, it's
Mhm.
cosmetics or collection logs. For you, I guess for you, it's kind of collection log adjacent in the sense because it is easy
Yeah.
clues. So is it
Nowadays it's collection log, yeah.
okay?
When I very first started, it was actually around the time that I had just started streaming as well. Like I was still newer to streaming and I hadn't done a lot of clues at all at that point, and it was this is going to sound a little silly, but it was partially because I knew I needed to make stash units, but I didn't really know how. Like, yeah, I could have just looked at the wiki, but it seemed a lot more complicated in my head than it was. So I started streaming, and people were like, "Oh no, it's easy. You just make a stash unit, throw the stuff in it. You're good to go." And as soon as I learned that, I was like, "Oh shit, this is easy." So I like started making all the stash units, and once all the stash units were made, like easy clues really are convenient anytime. Like it doesn't take a lot of inventory space. It isn't complicated, Um and the dopamine of opening the caskets, especially like early on and just getting all these log spots, it just I don't know, it hooked me. It's the clue dopamine, really. Like running around and treasure hunting, you know, finding maps and chasing them down and then getting a casket and opening it. And, you know, you might not get anything, but you might get something, you know, it's, it's that 50-50 drop rate, right?
Exactly. You either get the drop or you don't get the drop.
Yeah. So yeah, it just hooked me in. And then especially I also I chase ranks a little bit now with it too. I've been rank 13. Right now I'm rank 14. I got knocked down a little bit. Some other people grinded some, but yeah, for UIMs I'm rank 14 on it. So the ranks are also satisfying to me now too, like getting up there and wanting to hold my rank and get a bit higher up too.
What rank? Oh, you said you're at rank 14.
Yeah.
That's pretty. That's pretty high.
Yeah, it's my only front page. And it's the first front page I ever got on any account as well. So, like when I first got, you know, rank 25, I was so fucking excited, just over the moon about it. Like seeing my name on a front page. Like even though it's UIM Easy Clues, like who really looks up the UIM Easy Clues front page? But for me, it was just so exciting.
No, I get it. The day I hit top page in rune crafting, because like this account originally started as a trophy account. That was all I was gonna do, was hit like rank 25 rune crafting, stop.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't hard. It wasn't that far away.
Yeah.
And then I did it, and I just kept going and going and going.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 years later, here I am, still going.
Right.
Maybe slower these days, just because like, you know, had a lot more time back when I was doing it, but
Yeah.
still enjoy logging on, even if it's only for like an hour or two a day.
Right. Right.
So post easy clues, like you said, you're 2 away.
Mm-hmm.
That could be your next 2 caskets,
It could be.
theoretically. Probably not,
Yeah.
but it could be.
Yeah. I went really dry to get this last, like the most recent one I got. It was hundreds of easy clues um since the last unique. So I was so excited to get. It was kind of recently that I got that new one. Um
What are you missing? Are you missing Monk's G?
yeah, I'm missing the last two things that are Cape of Skulls, which
That's
I'm livid that I haven't got because everyone loves to show off their fucking spooned Cape of Skulls that they've got, and I'm over here without one.
You're gonna hate me. I got mine I got a Cave of Skulls on this account at like 30 something.
Yeah, yeah, I hate you. You know, it's all right. Just everyone gets one but me. And then the other one is the Monk Robe G top, is what I'm missing. And the annoying part about it is, so for the capes, I got 4 Team Cape X's before I got any other cape. Literally 4 Team Cape X's. Like,
Jeez.
right? That was the first 3 were pretty funny. Like it turned into a bit of a meme, you know. And then the 4th one, I was so done by that point. Like, are you kidding? This is ridiculous now. But and then the Monk Robe G, I have wait, I have to check. Hold on. I don't want to say it wrong. Yeah, no, it is. I've gotten 3 bottoms and no top.
No.
Yeah. I wanted to make sure because the third dupe was kind of recently too. So I forget if I've got 2 or 3. But yeah, literally 3 bottoms and no top.
That is that's a, like I think that's a lot of like collection loggers' worst nightmares, to get like a super rare
Yeah.
thing multiple times when there's like another thing adjacent to it.
Right? Like it's just crazy cuz it's still spooned as fuck. The fact I've gotten 3 in under 3k easy clues is super spooned, but it's not the right kind of spoon we need, you know? We need the top, not the bottoms again.
Exactly. And I'm just blown. Literally speechless by that.
Yeah.
Because most like other videos I've watched, like I watched I'm a Drum, if you know who that is, on YouTube.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
watched his Easy Clue openings and like how long it took him to get the Monk's Robe G piece.
Uh-huh.
Does that ever freak you out, thinking you might go like 5,000 dry?
No, only because I'm so addicted to easy clues and I love them so much that I don't mind. You know, like I will keep doing them even after I complete the log. I'm still going to do some easy clues. I'm not going to chase them like I do now. Like I'm not going to camp at ham members and just get easy clues all day. But every time I get an easy clue, I'm still gonna do it. Like I never drop clues. Like it's, well, unless it's completely undoable in that moment. Like I've had to drop some, masters and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, but like as far as doable clues, if I can do it, I will never drop it. Because there's always ranks and stuff.
And cool gear.
Mm-hmm. And like dupes, and you make money. Especially easies don't cost anything, so you do make pretty good money when you get alchable shit and and some good dupes that I'll drop over. I've got a little wallet account, and I'll drop expensive dupes over there. So
I actually
yeah, it's
stopped
not
doing
bad.
easies on this account after I got the table skulls and the ham joint and the about the
Uh
cat
huh.
staff. I was like, that's enough for
Fair.
me.
Yeah, yeah.
I wanted the rainbow, but honestly, the ham joint's kind of more of a flex, and I always have to have that chronicle
Mm-hmm.
in my hands
Right, right.
for that Varric teleport. So I was like, meh. Thanks,
Yeah,
utility over fashion. Unfortunately, is my name of the game.
yeah, yeah. That's understandable. I love the fashion. That's probably also why I love Clue so much. The fashion side of it.
There's so many good, like, interesting items that come from clue scrolls. Like, what would you say
Hmm.
is like probably like regarding disregarding like Third Age Gilded, some of your favorite fashion items just from clue scrolls?
I love the crier bell, but my problem is I put everything directly in my house, even if I don't have like a completed set. It's just how I prefer to do it. Like I consider it not usable until I complete the set.
Yeah,
And I don't have the crier coat yet. So I love the crier bell, but I don't actually get to use it until I complete that set with the crier.
that's medium clues, right?
Yeah, that's mediums. But yeah, I love the little ding dong bell.
I feel like I'm pretty basic. I really like the suits from Elites, the
Ooh,
tuxedos,
yeah.
or the like Anku outfit from Masters.
Honestly, everything that is unique in Elite and Masters, it's all such good fashion scape. Like I would love it. I haven't gotten anything from Elites yet, and I haven't got to do a ton of Masters yet, so I only have the Black Demon mask.
Ooh, that's a good
That's
one
stuff
though.
I'm Yeah, that's stuff I'm kind of building into still.
So once easy clues are done, you're gonna continue doing them, of course.
Yeah. Mhm.
Do you have your sights set on any other grind that you want to do or some other stuff? I know a lot of something else you're kind of known for is the guideless questing, which is very, very
Yeah.
rare nowadays with your quest helper plugins and the extremely
Mhm.
overpowered wiki that people have done for us.
Yeah. Yeah, I really love guideless questing. That's actually my biggest focus right now. I'm in the middle of Guideless Monkey Madness 2, and
Oof.
yeah, I'm actually having so much fun with it though.
The platform is a lot of fun.
That's where I just got to, so no spoilers. I haven't
Okay,
got
I'm
to
sorry.
try it yet. No, no, you're good. You're good. But I do know about the platform. I just made it that far. I actually had a near wipe just a few days ago in the Monkey Madness 2 tunnels. Uh it was pretty scary. I had made it pretty deep into the tunnels multiple times now. With guideless content, I generally just like take it at first, like exploring and getting an idea of my surroundings and making sure I'm not going to die, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I had been exploring the tunnels, and I had made it the deepest into the tunnels I had been so far, and every pit I had fallen into was melee monkeys. So I was feeling really good and confident about, falling into the pits. Now I was like, just pray melee and I'll be good. Pray melee and I'll be good. So I get deeper into the tunnel. I get past the bronze door, and I'm going along. I fall into the pit. I pray melee, and I was pretty calm because, at this point I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought I was pretty comfortable. Um, and this particular pit had range monkeys,
Oh
and they
no.
start fucking me bad. And I was too relaxed thinking I was fine. So I wasn't quick enough to realize kind of, it was more like seeing my health go down, and I was just panicking. I didn't, you know, really have enough time to just switch my prayer to range. So I just quickly run to the rope and climb up. And as soon as I climb up the rope, the rest of the damage hits me and I die. And for a minute, I thought I was completely fucked. Like, I was trying so hard not to panic. I was trying so hard to stay calm and like, but my brain was just reeling, trying to like figure out if I could even like make it back there in time at all. Like for a second, I was thinking, "Hey, Batol, fuck, do I have to get another Grigori?" Um, which probably would have made us wipe if I had to go through all of that. But luckily, I realized as I'm like getting back to Apatol and getting in the jail, I'm like, oh, I don't need a Grigori. I just gotta escape the jail, get back to that tunnel, and get back to my stuff as quick as possible. And I did end up making it back in time and got all my stuff with quite a bit of time to spare, but I didn't bring anything with me. Like in the panic, I just immediately went back to the tunnel, so I didn't have a light source. So like when I would fall, I didn't have any run energy, so I kept failing like all the agility obstacles. I kept falling into the pits, and then with no light source, it's taking me so long to run back to the rope that I'm sitting there taking all this damage, you know, from like the if you're in the dark too long.
The scarabs or whatever, something attacks you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the bugs. So I ended up getting back to my stuff with like 20 health left. Um, it was super stressful, but I think it was also a good experience for me to have because I feel like it built my confidence a little bit, like knowing that was a super stressful Monka situation, and I did manage to get my stuff back. Like I was just so hyper focused and like, you know, tunnel mode, get my shit back that it's nice to know I'm capable of it. You know what I mean?
Yes. No, that it's a very like rewarding feeling to like, make a mistake and then be able to like rectify that, or
Yeah.
maybe not fix the
Recover from
mistake.
it.
Recover is the word.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That reminds me a lot of like what when I talked to Buddha Puck on the cast, he mentioned that he likes to play UIM because he thinks of it like a roguelike.
Mhm.
Because like if you wipe, you don't start from zero, you start from like all these stats you already have and all that stuff. Obviously it
Yeah.
sucks, but like especially like if you're maxed, you can, make money again for a max cape, or you probably have some in a coffer somewhere. That reminds me,
Mhm.
do you use GP coffers?
I do. I
Okay.
do. Yeah,
Okay.
I use GP
Oof.
coffers.
Scary.
Yeah,
I'd be
it's it's like one of the few things that has made it more doable with the other restrictions cuz when it's something like um that I have to have a completely empty inventory for, it if I had to actually get rid of all my cash before I could do those activities, that would suck so much more than being able to just like stash money, you know?
Yes.
Just get it out of the way for a minute.
I would like
And I
Jagex to add an update where I can just throw my money underneath a bed in my POH.
yeah, that would be cool. It's like taped to the back of the toilet or whatever.
So you were saying something. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, 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 you're good. Oh, I think I was just saying I use stash units as well. Like it's like one of the biggest things I utilize with my restrictions are stash units. Eventually I want to have all the elite and master stashes made. I'm getting closer, but the masters we only have been able to start making recently, and we still have to +7 boost for them. So, you know, it's not the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's not it's a chore, but at the same time, like it's worth it.
Yeah, for sure. Like they're most of the master stashes, like everything in them is useful. Like I finally made the Dragon Defender Slayer Helm stash,
Yep.
and that one is huge now. Like anytime I need, I can just go pull that shit out, and it's like, yeah, just massive items.
That reminds me that did you like what do you think about them polling or changing some of the stash units like so like you can store prims instead of dragon boots, or I don't think that's one of them, but like just a good example like how we can store
Yeah,
the
yeah.
bofa instead of just the crystal bow.
So I personally find them pulling specific changes for UIM separately from the rest of the accounts. I find it really weird that they pull UIM separately, which I know a lot of like high level UIMs disagree with it because they don't like these updates, but the only restrictions that are set for a UIM, the game mode is set as no bank and no trading. That's what a UIM is. That's what the UIM game mode is. So if the rest of the game is getting a new stash unit or, get adding these variations to already existing stash units, why wouldn't UIMs get it? You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
I think it should apply to everyone because UIMs, we still can't use a bank and we still can't trade people. That's what our game mode is. Our game mode isn't can't bank, can't trade people, and also can only use some stash units and also, can't do this or that. It's just I think it gets a little bit excessive.
So what do you think about the like unique death mechanics, or for example, like just some unique things to the game mode that like other accounts don't have? Do you think we should also have the graves like everybody else, or do you think the
No, I get what you're saying. I think the death mechanics are good being separated the way they are because of how the game mode is, like without a bank, because yeah, the using death is basically a bank in a way. Like, I don't know, it makes sense that we don't go through death, in my opinion. I don't know how to really word that better, but
No, I totally understand what you're saying. It was just a curious question that came from how they have when Iron Man came out, Jagex made it very abundantly clear that it would not like affect how things would get pulled or how the game would change.
mhm.
8 years later, 9 years later, we have obviously seen the repercussions of it. Absolutely has.
Yeah. Right.
Like, I have to think that like stash units, I don't know if they'd be in the game if UIMs didn't exist.
Really? You don't think?
I think it would have came later.
Yeah. Because
Just
I feel like no matter what account you're on, the stash units are huge, like for doing clues. It would be so annoying to have to go to the bank every time. Like if I had a bank, it'd be so annoying to have to go to the bank, pick out the specific items, go to the clue step, go back to the bank to put the items away. You know, I like that the stash units kind of streamline clues a lot.
I agree. Do you remember when stash units came out? I'm trying to look it up right now.
I feel like it was a few years ago. I remember when they became a thing because I don't think I knew they were a thing. And then all of a sudden they were. And I think they didn't exist in the game before, and I just didn't realize it. You know what I mean? Like, I thought I was learning about stash units and I had just never heard about them before. But I think when I learned about them was actually around, a little bit after they had updated it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was curious if they predate the collection log. Because I feel like if they do, then I don't think they would have came out until the collection log. Because I feel like Clue popularity has gone skyrocketed
They had
since.
to have been after the collection log, yeah.
Then I guess it makes sense. Then the answer I'm changing my answer to, I believe yes they would have been in the game because people would have asked for that quality of life.
Yeah.
Just like that was like kind of my mindset because I don't remember when they came out because the collection log is pretty old at this point. I think.
Right.
So it's just one of
I've
those things.
always had the collection log on this UIM, I think. When did the collection log come out?
2018, I think.
I think maybe I started this account. Oh, yeah, okay. I definitely always had the collection log on this account because
Yeah,
I don't think I started it
it was released
before that.
December 6th, 2018.
Hmm.
So
The
like,
day before my birthday.
oh, that's crazy. It was like a gift to you,
Yeah.
unbeknownst.
Yeah, I had no idea. I actually was still pretty new to the game at that time. I did start on a main account, but I didn't get very far on that account. Like this, my UIM has way surpassed that one. It was just kind of how I got introduced to the game, and I hated the GE. I absolutely hated it. I hated GE Scape. Like every time I wanted to do an activity, I'm like, how do I get this item or this item? And you know, the friends I was hanging out with at the time, they'd be like, you
Buy
buy
it.
it at the GE?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, what? I don't have any money. And they're like, so go make some money and then go buy it at the GE. And I was like, why don't I just fucking go get the items myself? Like, I didn't understand the whole GE process.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like I don't know. The GE is what like derives me from playing a main. Just like the thought of, oh, I want a scythe, but instead of just doing Theater of Blood for it and like having
Uh
fun,
huh.
I have to do like 100 hours of Rune Dragons or like have 4 Rune
Right.
Dragon alts. And Altscape for me has it like that's the piece of the game that like ruined it for me. Is like
Yeah.
playing a main account or like a regular level 3 skiller. It was like, oh, if you want to be, competitive in any way, you have to have
Mm-hmm.
like 2 or 3 extra side accounts making money for
Yeah.
you.
Right. Yeah, that's what
And
put me off
yeah,
of it as well.
whereas like now it's just like, oh, I want to, do something. I want to make money to do something cuz like, I want to get an construction. Oh, I got to go make money myself. And I
Right.
can do something fun making that money. Like I really enjoy rune crafting, so I simply will go
Yeah.
runecraft and do it and make that
I
money.
I feel like every single item is just 10 times more valuable like when you take the GE away. They feel more valuable to me like when there's no GE cuz when there's a GE it's like everything has an actual I mean everything always has an actual price value, but like to an Iron Man this that may be worth 1K on the GE is worth like 100K in your mind, you know, if it was a difficult item to get.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
So I guess that like talking about how you started a main and all that kind of stuff, it brings me to like, I think the question a lot of people have for anybody who plays RuneScape, like how did you start? What was your introduction
Um,
into the video game?
so I I was 18. I moved out of my mom's house.
Oh wait, so you're like new to the game.
Yeah, yeah. So
Whoa,
this
that's
is where it goes
crazy.
to I grew up in a cult. I say that a
Oh,
little bit jokingly, but I'm also not joking. I it Yeah. It's the Mormon church is what I grew up in, but I call it a cult because it 100% is to me. And this is also kind of why I was asking, like, if there's any topics, to not go into because this
that
one
hey, that's
could be
total.
potentially a bit touchy, but
Hey, I
um,
literally had a dude talking about sexual activity while playing RuneScape. So I
no,
mean,
it will.
true, and not the fun other person kind.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So go into it as much as you want.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I grew up in the Mormon church, and from my experience, it is 100% a cult. Like the practices they have and the things I experienced, it's not a religion. It's beyond that. And uh, so yeah, I played games growing up, but I had never really got a chance to play like online PC video games like RuneScape, Like we had an original Xbox and later on we got a Wii. I gamed and like when I could, me and my brother we would sneak on the laptop or like when my mom wasn't home we'd sneak on the laptop and play like online games like addicting games and max games,
Hmm.
that kind of shit. So it wasn't like I didn't get to game at all growing up, but not the same experience as some people. I didn't get unrestricted internet access.
Yes.
um so I never really got to be introduced to the video game world like and the communities and Twitch and like that whole side of it until I turned 18, and I moved out of my mom's house on my 18th birthday. Like that's how much I needed to get out of there, you know? Because it wasn't a choice. Like I I never had a choice in anything. My mom would say a lot of things, like she was also super controlling and abusive and stuff. So it goes a little beyond like just the cult stuff, but
Yeah.
I feel like it all stems off of that. You know, I don't entirely blame her. I blame the, you know, leaders of the Mormon church, um and you know, the shit that they do. But yeah, so I turned 18, I moved out. I met my ex actually that I was with for almost 4 years. When I first met him, though, um, he kind of introduced me to the whole online video game world. He was a gamer. He had been playing PC games since he was like 12, and his parents got him a PC.
Mm-hmm.
And so he showed me a bunch of different ones. Like I tried League, I tried Overwatch, I tried Fortnite. You know, I played a bunch of different games, and as soon as he showed me RuneScape, which his friend group as well that I got to know, they some of them were RuneScape players as well. So they showed me RuneScape, and I just fell in love with it. It was like I was playing on a hand-me-down gaming laptop that most of the games we were playing did not run well at all, like even with all the settings turned down.
Mm-hmm.
But RuneScape, you know, RuneScape would run just fine. And
Hell yeah.
the fact that like they showed me the game, and I'm like, so what do I do? Like, can I do anything? And they're like, well, yeah, like look at all these skills there are. You can, you know, pick one and start there if you want. Like, there was just so much to look at and so much to do. Like, it was a completely different experience for me. I had never played an RPG really, you know, like of any kind, like an MMORPG especially. Like I I had never played where there's all these other players, there's so much going on, and I can take any direction with it. You know, it's like this whole world. I felt like I was inside, you know. I felt like I was in this new world to explore, and yeah, that was just the most exciting part to me. Like, you know, I always loved reading, and reading was kind of my escape from reality, you know, getting lost in this imaginary world that
You're hitting me
the
right here
book
with
would,
that one.
right? Like the book would create this huge imaginary world that you get lost in, and that's what RuneScape is, like just on a whole nother level, you know, that you get to actually play it rather than just reading it and experiencing it that way. You know, and that's part of why I actually love guideless questing as well, because I get to be completely immersed, you know. Like when I first started playing, I barely quested. The first like 20 quest points on this account were not done guideless, because it was before I was streaming, and it was 20 quest points, you know. It was like a few free to play quests and stuff, but those I was still attempting to do guideless, because that friend group that introduced me to RuneScape, you know, that was what they told me to do. They're like, go on the wiki, follow this guide, you know. Like it is kind of the meta for OSRS questing. Um and I hated it. Like I didn't feel like I was playing the game. I felt like I was following an instruction manual, you know?
Yes.
Like,
Absolutely. No, absolutely.
yeah.
That is kind of like what the wiki and quest helper are. It's just like follow the dots.
Yeah, right. And I hate when people tell me what to do. So that was like my worst nightmare, is like just listening to what this fucking page is telling me what to do. Um so yeah, I get lost in the doing the quest guide list, cuz it even more so makes me feel like I'm in this, you know, grand imaginary world that I'm, you know, and I'm just experiencing it and reading all the dialogue and getting to learn the lore. Like I love some of the lore in this game. Some of the quests haven't been my favorite guide list, you know. That's just how it goes, but um for the most part I really fucking love it.
So, top guideless quest and worst guideless quest.
So I haven't got Quest Cape yet.
Okay,
So I can't say all the way.
one you're looking forward to then.
Okay, okay. I think so far, I think it'll be easier if I kind of give quest lines more than like one specific quest.
Okay, yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah, because I think I really love the whole troll quest line. The lore in it, the dialogue is fucking hilarious. Like, I love the way the trolls talk. You know, disjointed, not very good English. They're just so fucking funny. And yeah, so I've really enjoyed the troll quest line. That's probably my favorite one. And then least favorite. Oh shit. That's hard. There's been some rough ones.
Okay,
I
how was
think
Mornings End Part 2 guideless?
I loved that one actually.
Seriously?
Mornings and part 1 and 2 have been some of my favorite quests so far actually. I'm super duper excited for Song of the Elves. I haven't done Song of the Elves yet. I haven't been spoiled on specifics, but people were too excited. The fact that I loved the light puzzle in Morning's End Part 2, I do know that there's like a light puzzle in Song of the Elves, but that's all I know about it. Like a few people have told me you're going to love the light puzzle in Song of the Elves. So I'm really fucking excited for that one. I love puzzles. Puzzles are by far my favorite. So yeah, like the puzzling part of quests is a lot of fun for me. The combat side is a bit more rough. I feel like I'm getting better at it, but so I guess I should technically say that the worst quest we've done so far is probably the longest one. Dragon Slayer 2 took 46 days guideless.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that one was rough, and it was because of Vorkath. Vorkath took the longest. I was stuck for a long time, but it wasn't like it wasn't all working on Vorkath. So when I started Dragon Slayer 2, I didn't even have super high levels or anything. Like I was below the recommended combat level for Dragon Slayer 2, but I wanted to do it anyway. And I'm kind of hard headed and stubborn. So I was like, I don't care, I'll do it. So a lot of the 46 days was time being put into grinding out certain skills. Like we didn't even have 80 cooking yet. So we got 80 cooking so I could use sharks. That was a huge upgrade. I got my herb lore up a bunch. Like my herb lore had been super low, so I was getting like better herb lore upgrades, and there was a lot of like level grinding throughout the Dragon Slayer 2 grind, and needing to get more money because doing those bosses guideless, I was just getting my money eaten up because the first few attempts I would go in and having no information beforehand, I'd get one shot by everything. So it took some time to like kind of evaluate what was actually happening in the boss fights and learning how to counteract it. Which one of my favorite things from that quest, um, I know it wasn't viewers' favorite thing. I stressed so many people out with it, but it's also because there were some people trying to like spoil or backseat. And basically, if anything gets kind of like backseated, it makes me want to do it even less. So people kept yelling at me to walk during the acid phase. And I was like, no, fuck you. Like, I'm doing this guideless. I didn't ask for your input.
Yeah.
And I'm going to fucking run during the acid phase, especially since you just told me not to. And you know what? It was better for me. And it was so much fun. It was like monka steering my way, through the acid. And it was stressful, but we got the kill that way. Up
And
until the very last attempt, we were always running during the acid.
I would say, and the payoff is immense knowing like you did it. Like I didn't do it the meta way. I did it
Yeah,
how I enjoyed doing it, and I got it done.
right. Yeah, yeah. We did end up getting it done, and then Galvek actually took way less time than Vorkath, but I had already learned a lot from Vorkath as well, so I feel like that had a bit to do with it. Like I was more mentally prepared for Galvek.
Yeah. And honestly,
Yeah.
like with how many guides there are on Vorkath, like for people who obviously like watch normal way,
Mhm.
Galvik for like I think a lot of people is like, one of those things. It's a true like test of mechanics for people who don't like PVM like myself.
Mhm.
I remember doing Dragon's 2 for the first time, and I was like, man, this is like probably one of the most fun quests I've ever done.
Yeah. Right?
But I am
It was.
a filthy watch the blue light and click. I unfortunately have like the like needing to get things done in an efficient manner, and that's not even just this game. It's just
Mhm.
something the game taught me, unfortunately, because it
Uh-huh.
affects all aspects of my life,
Yeah.
and I truly wish I could like turn it off sometimes, and
Yeah.
I do try to, but like if I get into a new game, I have to like know how to like play the game. I'm starting to I just started playing this new game. It was like a little
Uh-huh.
super little phone game, but I've
Uh-huh.
started ruining it for myself.
Oh no.
Because I was having so much fun. It's like a card game on your phone.
Uh-huh.
Do you like superheroes or anything like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's Marvel Snap. It's like a card game based on these
Ah, okay,
superheroes.
gotcha. Yeah, yeah. I've heard of that one.
And it's been so much fun just building my decks. So I
Uh-huh.
avoid so much just like looking for meta videos and all that stuff. Like I watch
Yeah,
videos like
right?
people having fun, like trying things out, but I do
Mhm.
not watch videos on people who only play like these are the best decks. This is what you should only play at the high
Right.
level. And I was like, well, I got to a high level building my own deck. So why does it matter?
Yeah. Right. That's the shit that kind of bothers me about efficiency scape because it's not that like so the way I've explained it before is like I don't have a problem with other people playing the game the way they want to, but there have been too many like what I call efficiency scapers um that, will hop in my stream and immediately talk shit or, say why aren't you doing this instead of asking me why I am doing it the way I am. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? That starts to really bother me because like it makes me feel like I'm always doing it wrong, which I'm not. Like there's no wrong or right way to play this game. There's a million different ways to play this fucking game, you know? There's so many things to do. There's so many ways you can do it. So just because my way isn't the most typical or the most popular way of doing it doesn't make it wrong. And I feel like people kind of, yeah, make me feel like it's wrong.
And you know what? I am like super stoked that you don't let those people like stop you from going live and stop you
Yeah,
from enjoying the game.
right.
Because like as much as we joked before this, like a lot of people I have had on this cast have been like efficiency people. It can be
Uh
very
huh.
refreshing to like not be like, so how many hours do you 3 tick 4G for?
Yeah,
It's
right.
it's fun to just be like, this is a game we all enjoy, and there are so many different like ways to play. It doesn't matter like if you play a
Mhm.
main or iron or UIM, whatever, hardcore. Like if you're enjoying the game, like who cares? Like
Right. That's what it's about. It's a game. Games are supposed to be fun. As much as, you know, we're RuneScapers and RuneScape apparently isn't fun in some aspects. It is still a game and it is meant to be fun.
yes, and that's why like I've talked a little bit about like myself just wanting to finish max, and like
Mhm.
I could do the most efficient things to finish. Like, I am so tired of being at the winter Todd. I just want to finish Tournament Fire
Yeah.
making. Solos are like half the speed as mass world hopping is.
Uh-huh.
So these days I've just been mass world hopping. I just want to finish it. I
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
get I
and
get
that's completely fair.
and I know like it'll bite me in the long run, but at the same time I'm like I don't care. I'm
Yeah.
just going to finish it.
Right. And even I try to more find I hate the meta, so sometimes when someone tells me as well that something's the meta, I'll be like, well, now I've got to find something else to do.
Oh no, Molly, I
I
have
love
news
to
for
go
you.
out of my way. What?
Ham members
Oh
are the
no.
meta for easy clues.
Okay, well, see, that's the one exception. That's
uh.
very true. That's a good point. Um,
Oh no,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I had to get that one in there.
No, you're that's totally fair. So see, there are some things that I do efficiently. Easy clues I do fairly efficiently, especially because like I do enjoy it. If it's an efficient method that I genuinely enjoy, I'll do it. But even still, if I'm doing an efficient method, I'm not sitting there actively thinking about how quickly I'm doing it because that starts to stress me out. Like,
Oh,
especially when
absolutely.
I'm streaming. Like I'm worried about keeping up with chat. I'm worried about, making sure my dog is okay. I'm worried about being entertaining for the stream. There's like so many other things I'm worried about that the last thing to be worried about is my XP an hour,
Yes, absolutely. And we kind of divulged from what we started talking about, and that was your introduction to the game.
Hmm.
And
Right.
I loved every moment of what we just talked
Hell
about.
yeah.
I would still
Yeah.
love to know. So 18, you left. You got
Mm-hmm.
introduced to the game vis-a-vis ex partner
Uh-huh.
and their friend group, and you started playing the game. So if you don't mind, like what year did you start? Like what year is this all happening?
This was like 2017.
Okay.
Yeah. And at that time I played very much off and on. I feel like more because nowadays being a streamer, I'm literally playing RuneScape every single day. There's like I don't take a day off. I always log on. I guess okay. I mean, I still take a day off here and there, but you get what I mean. I'm
Yes.
always playing this game now. But back then, it was definitely more on and off. I'd grind hard as fuck for a month and then get kind of burnt and take a month to focus on other things, and then come back to it. So yeah, not nearly as consistent.
That's fair. That's fair. So when did you start the game? Did you ever like look into irons at all, or were they just like play a main?
I didn't actually know that there were different game modes when I first started. Like that's not something that friend group told me exactly. Or maybe they did, but I didn't understand. Because I was still being introduced to online games at all. Like even the concept of having this giant open world that I could do anything was so much for my brain to wrap around that I don't think I understood what Iron Game Mode was.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so as soon as I had, you know, played the game a little bit more and got an idea of it and stuff, and I started watching YouTube content as well, RuneScape YouTube content, and that's when I started seeing the Iron Game Mode and it sounded like way more my thing. So I played that main account for I want to say 2 years. I might not have that timeline right. I've been streaming now for 2.5, almost 2.5 years, a little over 2 years, and I had this UIM about 2 years before that. So when would that make? Wait, see, that would be 2019. Okay, yeah, so that does line up. That does line up. So I played my main account for about 2 years, off and on. And then it was actually settled. Watching settled was what kind of introduced me to Iron Man, which settled isn't even just Iron Man. He was a UIM, but I didn't. So here's what I thought a UIM was at first. When I first heard about the Iron Game modes, I thought that hardcore was if you die, you lose your status. I understood that much. And I knew UIM was like even a step harder. So my understanding of UIM was that you didn't get a bank, you didn't get to trade players, but I thought it also had that stipulation of if you die, you lose your status.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I initially thought. So I was like, oh yeah, no way I could do UIM because I knew I would die all the time. Like I knew I I'm a dumbass and I run into an NPC that's too high level and I just die. Um so I actually before I made my UIM, I made a hardcore just for like it lasted a week. I basically camped in Lumbridge for a whole week and did little stuff was like cutting trees and you know fishing a bit and making some food, like just the basic shit. And after about a week, I was like, you know what? I want to venture out. And I knew there were dark wizards in, um, like next to Varrock. So I was a little too scared to visit Varrock. And I was like, well, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go this way instead. Let's go to Draenor.
Oh no.
I forgot about the dark wizard in Draenor. I forgot that there's some hiding there too. And I died to a dark wizard in Draenor uh,
That-
after a week on the account. And I was devastated. I was fucking so devastated. And it was only a week. So I was like, I can't do this shit. I can't be a hardcore. Like, I'm sad as fuck.
that is like the peak of every like first player's like realization that there are things in the world that can kill you in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I like, every like the joke, every person like when they first start playing, they go up to Varrock and the Dark Wizards murder them.
Right.
And oh my god, I don't
Right.
it's so rare that people like have that vivid memory because like most people you talk to have played this game for a very long time.
Right.
So I almost love that your perspective is just so like unique in that sense. It's just
Thank
not
you.
it's not one that you can get a lot
Yeah.
because it's one of those that's it's one of those games that's like driven by the factor that like so many people played this game and then when a big update came out, people left.
Yeah. Right. And it's nostalgia for like they say like what 90% of the community plays this game for nostalgia.
Something like
I
that
don't
probably.
that yeah, no, yeah, that was just a percent I pulled out of my ass. There's no source on that, but it's just like so many players play this shit for nostalgia.
It's just so it's so amazing the different perspectives we get.
Yeah. I love it. So yeah, as soon as I died as a hardcore, I was devastated. I knew I couldn't do hardcore. And then after the death was actually when I learned or like I think someone told me, I believe, that UIM that or maybe it was when I was watching Settled. I think it was mentioned in one of his videos cuz like he died or something on the UIM and I was like, "Wait, what? I thought that makes you lose status." And he didn't and I was like, "Oh, so UIMs don't lose status." So then as soon as that clicked in my head, I was like, UIM is totally the one I need. Like that's the game mode for me. And I made the UIM. I completely ditched the main. Like I have not touched that account in years now. And it's like, yeah, that account is like dead to me, you know?
It's a
um,
wallet.
I don't even use it as a wallet. I actually made a fresh wallet account. I don't even remember the info for the other one because
Oh
it was
wow,
like,
really?
yeah, I made a fresh wallet account. Yeah, I kind of just left that other one to rot away. um, it's kind of hard to explain it. There was a lot of reasons behind it. Like it was what I started on, but I felt like for because of that as well, I didn't want to continue pursuing it. I wanted like a fresh start, you know. I wanted a completely fresh account like because you know, I knew nothing when I first started and it felt it felt better to just, you know, ditch it completely. Kind of as like a that's how I started, but I can do better, you know?
Yes, absolutely. So now we're here. We've made it
Yeah,
to
now we're here.
modern day Molly.
Yes.
How does it feel? The other question I had for you specifically, I guess
Mm-hmm.
all this like, now my question is even more pressing in my mind. How did
Mm-hmm.
you start streaming?
Um, so it's actually kind of goes along with the X thing a little bit. For when I first started making the UIM, you know, I was really invested in a lot of YouTube OSRS content. Not a lot, but like as far as me watching content, I had only gotten on Twitch like one time. I was terrified of Twitch, especially OSRS Twitch. I have a little story uh, that that I could tell you. Part of the reason I was scared. So, being introduced to the whole online gaming world, there was a lot to like take in. And I did go on Twitch a little bit, but mostly in like really big streams where there's not a lot of the streamer interacting with chat. It's more just watching, like like I mean, even this was way back when this was before Ninja got huge doing Fortnite. This was actually Ninja H1Z1 days.
Hmm.
And my ex really loved Ninja in the H1Z1 days when he was still like he was a much smaller um, streamer, and so I would watch a bit of that with him, and then I'd kind of delve out on my own and watch a few other streams. But I was so intimidated; I never spoke in streams. And then one day I decided to, like, I had been watching some of Mr. Mammal's content on YouTube,
Yeah.
and I was a big fan of his YouTube content, and I saw he was streaming. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll go in there. And I went in there and I was chilling for a bit and listening. And I had a Prime sub that I had never used. So I Prime subbed, and I was all nervous, and this is years and years ago, and I didn't hear him say anything. And then, I'm me being a complete noob on Twitch. I was like getting a little nervous, and I refreshed the stream, and I was like, what am I so far? Maybe I'm like really far behind. Maybe I'm not live. So I refreshed the stream. And during that refresh, that could have been when he said something for all I know. He might have acknowledged the Prime sub. I don't know if he did, though. I missed it. And I did the most cringe thing a Twitch chatter can do and go, I was trying to make a joke. It was supposed to be sarcastic, but I'm new to Twitch, and I was like, man, streamer didn't even see my sub or something like that. I said I said something super cringe like that, like, man, streamer didn't even say hi to me, and I got fucking banned. Just a short ban, just like a 5-10 minute ban or something. But I was fucking mortified. Like, I took it so to heart. I was like so embarrassed and terrified of Twitch. Like, this was one of my first experiences trying to interact with the streamer, and it went so badly, and I wanted to hide in a hole, you know. um so that kind of scared me back away from Twitch for a little while. Like, I still thought it was just this scary world, like that I didn't know how to talk to people. Um so yeah, that's my little first experience. So because of all the YouTube content I had been watching, I originally actually wanted to start making YouTube videos with my UIM. That was more what I had planned. I'm constantly writing in little notebooks and stuff, and I was going through one of them the other day, and I actually found where I was writing down some ideas for like YouTube videos, like from when I very first started the account. And I never pursued it, and I'm not shit talking, but partially because of my ex. I I was just so nervous and like about all these different things. Like, I really wanted to get into content creation, but I was so afraid. And when I would bring it up, I think I really needed someone to like say like, you can do it, like, to not so much inform me of the downsides of it, but maybe, kind of bring me up with it, like, because I wanted to start so bad, but I needed that push. And that's not what I got from my ex. I felt like my ex, when I would bring up these kinds of things, these ideas, he would be like, because I'm always, my ADHD goes crazy. Like, I'm always trying different things that sometimes don't work out and sometimes do. But, um, you know, even though, so I'm very aware that sometimes things don't work out, that you can have the best idea in the world, and it might not come together in the end,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so every time I was like wanting to get into content creation, I just didn't have that push I needed. So I kept not doing it. And And then me and my ex broke up. Uh, and maybe TMI. I know you didn't ask, but it's, I realized I'm gay as fuck. um, and so once we, you know, having us break up, just I felt like there were so many things I had been wanting to do and try, and streaming was one of those things that I was like, what's stopping me now? I don't have anything to lose. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we're just gonna send it. We're just gonna try it, and uh, yeah, that's kind of how I ended up starting streaming. So it was something I thought about for years and years first, and didn't have the confidence. That's always what it comes back to for me. I struggle a lot with confidence, and there's times in my life where I've been a lot lower in confidence, and then breaking up with my ex helped a bit with my confidence, just because it was like I don't have someone to hide behind. I don't like I don't blame him. Like, he was always super supportive and there for me, but with my personality and kind of what I grew up with and stuff, I feel like I needed to stand on my own a bit so I could have the confidence to try the things I wanted to. So it's not really his fault, but I would hide behind him because it was easier for me.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I absolutely get that. It is like it's one of those things. It's hard to like. I don't know. I feel like I've been there myself, where it's one of those things. It's like it's hard to admit while something happens, and then the reflection is
Mhm.
when you're like, okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, and like we said before, like whatever you're comfortable talking about, that's awesome. So, because like
Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
there's things you said like this in stream before or talked about things before that maybe people had missed, and now people will be like,
Right.
okay, now I get the Molly story.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Thank you. And I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to share it as well.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm we'll talk about the end too, but like I'm so happy that you said yes. I know we had we
Yeah.
had talked about it like I think last December,
Mhm.
something like
Yeah.
that. And
Before
then
I moved, yeah.
yes, and then life happens, life gets in the way, and then
Mhm.
I'm here. We are now.
Hell yeah. Yeah. We got here.
We got here in the end. So it wasn't about the
Mhm.
journey; it's about the destination. No, we're doing it wrong now.
Shit.
Here, it's about the destination, not the journey.
Yeah, yeah. In this case, true, true.
So,
Mhm.
um, I have a couple more RuneScape questions.
Hell yeah.
Um, in regards to kind of like what you're gonna do in the future, like what's your plans? I know I had kind of brushed over the easy clue thing and being done and having something else you're looking forward to and like your eventual
Mhm.
quest cape. We know you're gonna get it.
Yes.
You're gonna talk to the wise old man and you're gonna steal it from him.
Yes, I'm going to. It's gonna be mine. Actually, pretty quick here since we're working on Monkey Madness 2, and then next month, May, is when I'm gonna be doing Song of the Elves. So that one is coming up pretty quick now, and I'm really excited.
So
And
how
then
many do you have left?
just 5. Uh, some of them are pretty big though. Sins of the Father I still need to do, but I'm really, really excited for that one because I've loved that quest line,
The
like the lore in that quest line.
the vampire quest line is like probably one of the only
Mm-hmm.
quest lines I've actually read.
It's so good. Like, I still don't. I still kind of have no idea what's gonna happen in Sins of the Father. Like, I mean, I know there's a boss fight. I know that the higher quests all pretty much have a guaranteed boss fight of some kind. So, um, I'm mentally prepared for that, but I'm also just really excited. Um, which other ones do we have left? We've also got Secrets of the North, since that one's still a bit newer, and then um, there's one more. Oh, A Night at the Theater, which is probably going to be pretty Monka's guideless, but I mean, it's not. I'm just going to take my best in slot combat gear, and as much supplies as I can, and just work my way through it.
You know what? That's the thing about like what you're doing too is like it may take you longer, but you're gonna have fun getting this. At that point, it's
Yeah.
about the journey, not about the destination.
Exactly.
Role
Yeah.
reversal.
Mm-hmm. So
So
outside of that, other plans.
yeah,
Hmm. You know, Questcape's the main focus. Always clues. So I guess my overall goal for this account has always pretty much been I want every single clue step to be completable. That's like kind of like the main thing that drives the account. So I want every master stash unit filled, every single stash unit filled, and um every quest at least, or every step at least, somewhat easily completable. There's some that are never going to be all the way completable, like some of the master steps. The like right now I've never done God War's dungeon, so if I get the fallow step for like the, what is it, Arma Helm, or some shit like that,
yeah.
uh that might not be doable, but you never know. One day, I haven't totally figured out my plan for a few of those things, because basically the way it works right now is anything that is not storable, whether it's in the POH or a stash, I see as a completely expendable item. Just it's not an important item to me at all. Like right now, I could wipe and completely lose my inventory, and it would suck to have to rebuild, the shit I do have. Like I've got some house tabs and potions and other various shit. Like it would suck to have to rebuild that, but it would be easily doable. I don't hold on to like high level items that can't go somewhere. Um so even like raids and stuff are becoming more realistic, and I've started learning Cox and TOA a bit, and it's doable, but it's always going to be with kind of scuffed gear, because I rely on things that can either go in stash units or in my house.
Yeah. So I guess one question I have for you then is, do you have the Barrows set stash unit done? And if
Not
not,
yet.
which one are you gonna store?
That one is so hard for me because I'm just so indecisive. Like, part of me wants to do a huge Barrows grind eventually and hold as many items as I can until a set kind of starts to form, you know, because that would be an option. But like, it's not that realistic. I do kind of need to just pick a set and then go for that one. Um, and I just can't make up my mind. Like, I don't know yet what's going to be the most beneficial for me. I think I would end up going with either Carol's, or you know, that's why it's so tough. I want to say Carol's. There's a good chance I would go with that, but I could
Masori.
also see myself getting like tanky gear,
Yeah. I would say
like
because
wanting something really tanky.
and you can store ancestral, right?
Yeah.
Because you can store ancestral, you can store
Mhm.
Masori,
Mhm.
but you can't store Torva
Yeah.
or Bandos.
Right. So, I mean, well,
It's an interesting conundrum.
it is.
It's kind of
I
it's kind
think
of a
I
really
would
fun
probably end
puzzle
up
though.
going with one of the melee sets, but I don't know which. Maybe isn't Guthin's like one of the tankiest ones, or am I wrong about that?
I think Guthin's is pretty tanky. I think it's Torog and Derek that are the tankiest, but Guthin's
Oh,
like
gotcha.
you have like the healing yourself bonus from it, so maybe
Right.
really good utility use. And then you got like
Yeah.
if you want to do Mole in the future, you can Derrock it.
Yep.
I don't know. There's always
Yeah.
those some of those fun little things to like think about because
Right.
I'm not in any way, shape, or form going to tell you which one to pick because I'm
Right.
so intrigued to figure out like in the future which one you do.
Yeah. I think it will naturally kind of decide for itself. Because I run into stuff every day. Like I'm always learning new. things about the game. Like there's never ending knowledge to gather. So I think at some point I'll see like, oh, I'm really lacking in this specific style of combat, and it would benefit me a lot to have that Barrow set.
Hmm.
You know, I think it will naturally kind of come together because right now I I do start to switch it up now with other stuff, but my main go-to outfit has been Void for a really long time, and honestly it's solid. Like even some of the, like, I haven't done a ton of bossing. I'm not gonna like act like I have. I'm still getting into it. Still just kind of learning to PVM, especially having to do it with such little inventory space and like with scuffed gear. um I'm just taking my time learning different things, but Void has been solid, you know, for everything I've kind of learned so far. um, Void has worked, you know, and it's just basic Void right now. It's not even Elite Void yet.
Because diaries suck.
Yeah, Diaries. That one, you need the Zulra kill for, right?
Yes, you do.
Yeah, so I have not touched Zulra yet. Little
Zora is
nervous
also
for
a
that.
boss I have never touched, and like,
Really?
yeah, I've played a level 3 for a very long time, but I have had other accounts. Like I've done other things. Like I've done Corrupted Gauntlet. I've done Vorkath. I've done like
Mm-hmm.
I've done at least one KC of each raid.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Theater of Blood not included. I did entry mode. I don't know if that counts. So
Yeah, yeah. Wait, so you uh, correct me if I'm wrong. You started three, the level 3 account because you don't like to PVM?
I
Is
also
that
hate
why you started it?
I also hate Slayer.
Okay, fair. I fucking despise Slayer. I hate Slayer too.
I'm with
It's
you
one
on
of
the
my least
fact
favorite skills.
I'm with you on the fact that I hate having, like, that's the one skill that takes away the freedom, because it's like, go kill
Yeah,
this, and I'm just like, I don't
right?
want to go kill that. I actually want to go
Yeah.
kill these, so I'm going to without a Slayer bonus.
Yeah, right? It really locks you in. And some of the tasks are like, I I don't like stacking things in my inventory too high. I get anxious. Like herbs, I feel like are a really good option. Or not option, example. Um because so my best friend is Potato Heim. Do you know who she is?
She has a question for you in the tweeters, so
Yeah,
I am only familiar with that aspect.
she's my best friend. She's we met through doing the group iron together, and I joke around with her a lot because she also has a UIM, but she uses a looting bag, and her looting bag is constantly piled with leaves and leaves and leaves, and it stresses me out to look at because it's like hundreds of leaves that need to be processed. And where I don't use a looting bag, I immediately, like, if I get any herbs that I want to actually use, I immediately go and process them. Like that's how I manage it on this account. So looking at her like hundreds of piles, just, you know, it stresses me the fuck out. Like imagining having to process all of that at once, you know, in one sitting,
You would
just makes
hate my looting bag. When we're done recording, I'm going to show you.
totally fair. Yeah. I was saying that because with Slayer, yeah, they assign you a task, you have to do that task, and most of the time it's like over 100. It's like go kill 125 jellies or whatever, and that's so fucking many, you know?
I know,
So
and it
many.
sucks.
Yeah, fuck that.
The only time I like Slayer is when I can just stack all the monsters up at once and kill them all at once with Ice Barrage. It's the only time I think it's
Oh,
enjoyable.
fair.
Or I can chin them, either way. But I also like, I also hate hunting chinchompas.
Really? I don't mind it too much.
I My two least favorite skills: thieving, hunter.
Oh? Oh my god, those are my two favorite. Those are my highest skills. Thieving is my only 99, and a hunter is 96, so that's probably gonna end up being my second 99.
I do have 99 hunter only so I can barehand every impling I see.
Okay, fair.
And
Yeah, I barehand implints all day.
I did 9 through 80 only birdhouses on a UIM, which fucking sucked
Oh.
because I hate it that much.
Yeah, and birdhouses on a UIM is just pain. I don't know how so many UIMs like consistently do their birdhouse runs, and I don't know how they manage it. I would lose my shit.
I just kept a stack of seeds I needed in my seed box.
Mhm.
But I did herbivore from 80 to 99 because that was the only way I could
Yeah.
like deal with it, and I like
Yeah.
I had to like fletch arrows the whole time too. So I have like
Herbivore is fun though.
I really enjoy herbivore.
Yeah, it's so fucking fun. It's just cozy.
And then thieving is the only method I ever liked thieving is stealing artifacts.
Oh, really?
It's the only way I like to do it. I don't like spam clicking. I like, dodging the guards, and like I feel like I'm actually playing the game.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm enjoying.
That's one of the things I like about so thieving for me, I actually like just pickpocketing random NPCs sometimes. Like one of my favorite ones that is uncommon is the heroes in RD over the RD Knights, because I do, even with 99 and like the RD Hard Diaries and Thieving Cape or whatever, like I do still fail them, and that makes me feel like I'm actually playing the game, like getting
Yes.
hit by them and having to eat, like it makes it more interactive than just sitting and pickpocketing RD Knights all day.
No, absolutely. And like I'm not looking forward to the Master Farmer grind for an Herblore on my account. It's gonna be miserable, truly.
Yeah, fair.
So
See, this is that's like one of my favorite things to like kind of, or one of my favorite ways to look at the game a little bit is like, this is what it literally shows, that there's so many ways to do it, cuz I hate doing long grinds.
mm-hmm.
So I never sit and just like grind something out, you know, I don't know. I don't commit to these long ass grinds. I'm just constantly jumping from thing to thing, but it ends up adding up, like, passively. Oh, look. Hey, come here.
Bucks are going crazy again.
Hey, you need to go to bed. Come on.
This is now the Buckcast. Welcome, episode 20.
But you gotta stop. Are you okay? Come here. Good boy. Okay. Uh-oh. Hey, you need to go to bed? Okay. So I think he's good now.
That's all right. I will just edit that piece out. Unless you want me to keep the Buckcast in.
No, you're good. Whatever works. If it's like too much trouble to edit, I don't mind if you leave it. Hey, you go in your bed. Go in your bed. Go. Settle down. He just gets a little extra
You're good.
bedtime for now.
And it's no trouble. I make notes.
Okay.
Where I think I might need to edit something.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, if you just want to chop that little bit out.
All right. So continuing on, where were we?
Sorry, he's in his bed. He'll keep barking for a minute though.
That's all right.
Oh yeah, what were we saying? Just like, yeah, I just like that there's so many options of how you can do it. You can you can. It's literally a million different NPCs for thieving. You
Yeah.
take your pick. Do what's most fun.
And I get that. Just hate it. Don't know why.
Yeah.
As like an Iron Man, it's funny too because like thieving is always like one of a lot of people's like first 99s, and it will probably be one of my last.
Yeah. For sure.
So, do you want me to let's go to some questions from the people.
Okay.
The first one, the second one, we already went through one. So the second one is coming from your friend Potato Hime, RS on Twitter. That was it. It was a question actually we kind of already answered a little bit. I don't know if there's anything more to the answer after I asked you the question. If there is, go for it. Otherwise, we already kind of answered it, and that was
Okay.
tell us about your UIM restrictions and what you think of the looting bag. Also, what's the secret to you being such a good friend?
Aw,
Tell us the secret, Molly. I need to know. I need to be a better
I love
friend.
Potato. I mean, see, I don't even feel like Potato's a better friend to me than I am to her. Like, I'm such a fucking shit show, and sometimes I, won't respond to her Discord message for like a whole day because I'll be sleeping for 12 hours straight, having a bit of a sleep catch up day.
A fat nap.
Yeah. So honestly, she should be the one answering that question. How to be the best friend, yeah.
Well, she's on next cast, so I'll ask her then.
Hell yeah. But yeah, the UIM restrictions, I don't death bank, I don't death pile. The looting bag, I mean, we could go into that one a little more because I don't know if I explained my actual first experience with a looting bag happened off stream before I was a streamer. It was one of the mechanics I wasn't entirely opposed to. So I tried out a looting bag for a little while. Um Not very long. I was like, just on a brand new fresh UIM, but I I ended up getting a looting bag. I threw a bunch of shit in it, including I think it was a trimmed strength ammy from Medium Clues. Like I got really spooned on one of those and I couldn't store it yet, so I threw that in the bag too. And yeah, just like a few other random things. And I had read on the wiki, the only ways to
Oh no.
get your stuff out was to die, which I didn't want to do, or to destroy it in the wildy.
Oh
And I was
no.
like, I can do that. So I went, I jumped over the wildy line, I destroyed it.
Oh
I sat there
no.
and waited for my stuff to appear on the ground. It wasn't appearing. Uh, I didn't step into the wildy. At the time, I didn't know any better, I hadn't learned that
Yeah.
just over the line doesn't count as the wildy. So I lost everything that I had bagged, and it was not a fun experience. And I didn't use a looting bag again after that until I started streaming, actually. So um, I was completely looting bagless, and then I started streaming, and I was still fresh on Twitch and like didn't have as much confidence as I do now. So I was confident about the no death banking and no death piling. I was like, that's not something I'm gonna do. I don't care what you guys say. But with the looting bag, I did kind of get peer pressured into using the looting bag again, like giving it another shot. Um, so for a little while, I did. I used the looting bag on this account, but what ended up being the biggest problem is I still didn't death bank or death pile. So how I would get things out of the looting bag, I did have to like die, but my rule was that to keep it as not death piling, I needed to immediately return to my stuff and pick it all up. Like that's how I made it so that I still wasn't death piling. I was just emptying my bag.
Hmm.
And it kind of worked for a little while, but the problem I would always run into was I would fill the bag all the way up and there's still some stuff. Well, I would try not to fill it all the way up. I would try to only fill it a little bit, but I would still end up with too much stuff between my bag and my inventory. And because my rule was to immediately return to the pile and pick everything up, I would have to leave a bunch of shit that I had stacked. I would just leave it behind. Like, what else was I supposed to do? That's like otherwise I'd be breaking my own rules. So I would sit here and stack up some certain supplies and materials and then just end up having to leave it behind anyway. So it felt really like a waste of time to use the looting bag at all. All it did was like give me an excuse to not work on shit instead of immediately dealing with stuff. I would just procrastinate and throw it in the bag and then not end up having enough space to deal with it anyway.
Yeah.
So,
No, that makes
yeah.
total sense to me.
Yeah.
'Cause there are things like even I immediately process right when I get them. I don't like hold
Mhm.
them all. Like any logs I get from Wintertodd, I immediately flush them
Mhm.
into arrow shafts instantly.
Yeah. Right.
And like herbs, I always clean them. I never leave dirty herbs in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Like
get it.
that's like decisions you have to make as a UIM. It's like you have to make those quick decisions. You get an item, you decide, do I alk it? Do I drop it? Do I process it? Like, what am I going to do with this? Because I don't have space to hold it forever.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think,
Yeah.
asked and answered thoughts on the looting bag, not for you.
Not for me. Yep.
Gotta respect the decisions.
Yeah.
So I have another question here. I'm not sure how serious this one is either, but it was a question. Gotta ask it.
Okay.
From it's NOP OSRS. I don't know if it's NOP or Nope.
Nop. Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Mm-hmm. My favorite is like salted caramel. Pretty much any version of like caramely chocolate. Well, like vanilla ice cream, and most of the salted caramel ones have like chocolate bits mixed in. Oh, so good.
That was the perfect answer. Is eating half a gallon per week every week too much?
No.
Does does NOP have a problem?
No.
And why is half a gallon now 0.37 gallons?
Wait. Okay, I don't understand that bit.
So the question is stemming from the factor that things in supermarkets now are
Uh-huh.
the same price, but you get less. So
Oh,
why is half a
gotcha.
gallon now actually less than when I was half a gallon 5 years ago?
That is a good question. Honestly, why? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that one. I wish I knew. Inflation, I guess.
Exactly. Actually, one of my bandmates put this to me really great. He said shrinkflation. So you pay the same amount for
Oh,
less.
yep. It's
Also,
fucked. I hate that.
yes, no inflation enjoyers in this house.
Yeah. Fuck
So
that.
so my last viewer question, or not viewer, I guess, Twitter question. They're not my viewers, they're yours.
Uh.
Well, I guess maybe after this they will be.
Yoink.
Exactly. The plan.
Yeah.
It's no, you've discovered
The
it.
scheme.
So this one comes from Bram. Which we've actually answered the first part of this question, but if there's anything else you want to add on to it, great. So the first part is, what do you like the most about Galaxy Questing? Which one has been your favorite so far? You mentioned, dipping into the lore, really feeling immersed, and how the trolls kind of give you that scratch that itch. They're just good.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
The second part is, are you looking forward to Desert Treasure 2 getting released?
So I am, but I was really hoping I could get the Quest Cape done before Desert Treasure 2 so that I don't feel kind of rushed into it, you know? So, because like I really want to get Lumbridge Elite, and I need to get the Quest Cape and do the emo, to knock that step off the list.
Yes.
Um, and I now fear guideless questing takes much longer, like, and I don't like to rush it because
You want to
I
enjoy
want
it.
that immersion. I want to enjoy it. And so yeah, I'm still going to just take my time on the quests we have left, but I do think Desert Treasure 2 might get released before I've gotten the quest cape. And so I'm excited for it. I really loved Desert Treasure 1. I actually really enjoyed doing that quest. I felt like they did a good job with the puzzles, and like it was a bit of a riddle, It you get like you have to look through the looking glasses and find where the different guys that you were chasing down were. And I love that. That's like my favorite part of questing is solving those puzzles, putting the pieces together. I feel like a little detective,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited for Desert Treasure 2 as far as the lore goes and wanting to complete it, but I'm not excited with the timing of when it's coming out, I guess.
All right, fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
The
I wish it
last,
was just a little longer.
like maybe fall.
Yeah, yeah.
The last piece of that question is no longer a question, it's a statement. It just says also. Kiss a Buck, which I believe
Always kiss a buck.
is an emote in your stream.
Yeah, it is. I made it in reference to Kiss a Homie, but we got Kiss a Buck.
Hell yeah, that's a good reference. I like that.
Yeah.
So I've got a couple more for you, and
Uh-huh.
then we will finito.
Okay.
So when it comes to you being a streamer, playing the game a lot, we talked a little bit before about the sleep schedule. You just talked about it before as well. Um, what do you do to balance like your real life obligations and like, you know, also making time for the stream and for the game? And I guess like one question I want to add on to that is, do you play a lot off stream?
That's a good question. So I actually struggle a lot with balancing everything. Like right now, stream is my main focus aside from Buck. Buck is always number one. He's always the main focus of my life. I'm dog mom first, but outside of that, stream is like my second top priority. Um, and because of that, there's a lot of other stuff I've really kind of had to put to the side, including music, like which it's something that for a while in my last living situation, I wasn't in the best like headspace. So I feel like that was dragging me down a lot and making it even harder to balance things. So now that I've moved and I kind of have my own space, no roommates, I feel like I am getting like right now I'm still a little flustered from moving. Like I haven't unpacked everything and stuff, but I feel like this is the right place for me now that I can start balancing more things again and, start working on music again and um, some other things like art. I love art and just creating things. So so yeah, I'm hoping I can get back balanced in the future, but as far as RuneScape, I play a lot off stream and on stream obviously I play a lot, but when I'm live, I'm more focused on the chat interaction and um, we do other stuff on stream as well, like Sudoku puzzles and crosswords. So there's like other stuff happening. Um, so I feel like my off stream time is really important to me. It's like time I can kind of collect my thoughts and figure out the plans for the account and the goals and like how we're going to actually reach the goals. Um, so yeah, sometimes I'm not even necessarily playing a ton off stream. I'm just logged into the account and like thinking, if that makes sense, just kind of like processing things in my mind and yeah, organizing plans and thoughts. Um, so yeah, I do feel like I put a lot of time off stream into RuneScape as well, but it does depend on how much I'm feeling it as well. Like there's definitely times if I'm getting too overwhelmed, I don't worry about playing off stream. I
Mm-hmm.
save all RuneScape for on stream and off stream I focus on me and figuring life out and stuff. you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like, you know, you're getting a handle on it.
Yeah,
You're getting
balancing
there.
is just really hard. I don't know how a lot of content creators do it cuz I'm only streaming, and I want to do YouTube videos. It's something that I've attempted to do quite a few times and I have a really hard time focusing on it and getting anything done because stream is my main big focus and there's so much that goes into it and I'm just not good at balancing still. I'm not good at balancing things. Um so yeah, a huge shout out to all the content creators who are like working a full-time job and streaming and editing videos it's crazy that they can get that much done.
It is like a very like big thing. That's why like, you know, I do this. I record one of these like, I don't know, every week or two. Then
Mhm.
I Don't really do much editing on them. Play my account, get clips. My progress videos, whew,
Right.
one every 6 months. Tell you what.
Right? Like that's why I still haven't ended up releasing YouTube videos yet because I start working on one and I even if I see if I were to sit down and start putting an hour in every day into video editing, I'd get more comfortable with it. I probably would end up with an edited video after a few months. Um I would get something done, but I don't every time I sit down to put that hour in, like my brain is just thinking about how little that hour is going to do and it kind of I like talk myself out of it. It's really bad, but I talk myself out of it knowing, that it's barely going to make a dent.
If it makes you feel any better, I find like 1 hour is
Uh-huh.
really enough time when it comes to video editing to really see a big jump in progress, even if it's just
Right.
putting the clips together. Even if you spend
Right.
1 hour not doing anything to them, just putting them in order, because then you're like, okay, I have
Yeah.
this cohesive thing now. Then
Yeah,
it
then you got
becomes
something to kind of build off.
yes, yes. You got to build a platform before you can build the castle, you know?
Mhm.
So I don't know if that helps
That's
at all,
fair.
but that is
Yeah, that does. That does.
that's kind of how I look at it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, hopefully I can start getting some stuff put together because especially for the financial side of it, like streaming on its own, some months are great financially and some months are in the bin financially. It's like it's really it fluctuates a lot on Twitch and I know if I, consistently started putting work into YouTube videos, I'm not saying that they would do well, but they would at least be there and be something and I've already got people who I know would be interested in watching it. So I just have to find the time and motivation to get that done, so I can benefit from it.
Absolutely. And you got a subscriber right
Thank you. Thank you.
here.
Appreciate it.
So, you mentioned music, and we had talked a little bit before
Mhm.
this about it a little bit. So, what kind of music do you do, and what is your future looking like with that? And do you have anywhere where people can listen?
Yeah, so I have produced 5 songs now. Um all with Ableton and music's always been a part of me. It's like I started uh playing piano when I was like 5 or 6. That's when I learned to read music and, you know, learned a lot about music theory and just the basics. And then always throughout my life, I've played other instruments. I played flute for a while and then I started learning guitar a few years ago. And physically, I've got some health stuff. So playing instruments, I have never like I've been decent at it when I put the practice in, but I felt like I've got weak joints and so even with guitar playing, I mostly do that for fun and because I enjoy doing it, but I wouldn't say I'm great at it. Um because yeah, it's just like it's hard. It's you have to push the strings down. You have to have that hand strength, that grip strength.
Yes.
So right, it's difficult. So I found that digitally has more to it for me. It's the better option because I can play any instrument I want as well as I want when it's, digital because I don't have to physically play the notes. I can plot it all out and tweak it and get it perfectly how I want it to sound, even if I physically can't get it to sound that way,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So so yeah, I've got 5 songs there on Spotify. They are on YouTube as well. I mostly like to shout out my Spotify though. Um and yeah, they're all like I have a hard time putting a genre on them because they're kind of different. Like I don't put lyrics on my songs right now. I haven't had the like vocal confidence. I've always sung in choirs and stuff, but it's different, especially like with recording. It's like permanently going to be there, and that trips me out. So, um, yeah, I've struggled to find my voice. So all of them are just instrumental and very video game influenced. They've all got a little bit of a different vibe. Like one of my songs is more of like a lo-fi. One of them is like more happy. But it's all just like instrumental and a little bit like yeah, influences from different places, I guess I should say. Like each song I made with different influences in mind, basically.
Absolutely. And do you have them on like SoundCloud or like that, or are they kind of just for you right now?
They're on Spotify. Like they're released. You can find them
Oh,
on like
cool.
pretty much any music platforms. Yeah, I use a music distributor
DistroKid.
called CD. No, I use CD Baby. I had a very bad experience
Ooh.
with DistroKid actually. They're a bunch of scammers
Oh, really?
in
Because
my
like
eyes.
when we were talking about releasing the record, we were like really deciding on what we are gonna do with DistroKid or CD Baby, and
Hmm.
DistroKid just had the more features we wanted.
Yeah. So initially, that's how I felt as well. What happened with them? So had so I signed up for everything I wanted to, and they were good for a while, and then I signed up for their like YouTube um sync or whatever you want to call it. Like, they find your songs on YouTube, and like if other people are using them, they uh find it, and then I would get paid for it. I would get royalties. Like if people are using my songs without permission.
Yeah.
Um they have their search engine, their search bot thing. Anyway, so I signed up for that, and I read all the fine print and everything, but what I didn't understand, I had uploaded a video on the same YouTube channel that has my music on it, like which since it sorry, I'm having a hard time with words here. Since my music was released, I didn't actually upload the songs to that account, but the distribution service did, and it hooked it to my YouTube account. So my music was there. I uploaded a video, and it had my music on it. This was like forever ago. It was just like a rough cut of some clips from one of the streams. Like I was attempting to edit a little bit, and I put my music on it. And what I thought I understood was that I should then on the YouTube video, like put that I own the songs, right? Because they're my songs, I own them. So I did that. I included that. And apparently it caused a copyright issue with DistroKid because, DistroKid was then trying to claim that video for me, but on YouTube's end, I was claiming that it was already mine. So
Oh,
it caused a
weird.
bit, yeah, so it caused a bit of a mix up. And DistroKid unreleased all of my stuff, basically. They took everything down. I was still paying for their service, but I could not get a hold of them. I tried to contact support for months and months while my music was like taken down. I could not, like, they don't have a support. They do not have a support team. Just like my experience was so terrible. I sat there and emailed them and tried to call and did this and that. And every time I would just get an automated bot response telling me like random information that had nothing to do with the issue. They wouldn't tell me, like, at this point I hadn't worked out what happened. All I knew was my music was taken down, and I had no idea why. I didn't know I messed up. If they had messaged me, if support had contacted me back and said, well, the issue was because apparently in their fine print, when you sign up for their YouTube like services, it says that they want to be the only ones that will be claiming the the copyright like on YouTube. So
Oh.
because I claimed it as mine on the YouTube channel, it like was technically breaking that rule that they had set, but I didn't know I had done anything wrong.
So if they had just been like, hey, like this happened, just wanna like clear that up, and you're be like, oh, okay, whoops.
Right. Yeah, I would have, but instead it was months and months of me being in the dark, having no clue what was going on. Like I worked this out almost a year later after the shit had gone down. Um was when cuz I was like reading through something and I read that and I was like, "Oh, that's, I still haven't gotten any kind of confirmation from them that that was the issue. That's just what I've put together for myself." And the
Detective.
fact that yeah, the fact that they have no support and no like I liked their service until this shit happened, And then I realized that like there was literally nothing that I could do. So I finally had to cancel with them. I switched to CD Baby. I got my music released everywhere, which it wasn't too hard to do because it wasn't like all the way gone. It was just grayed out on the services. You know, when a song will get like grayed out on Spotify.
Yeah.
That's basically how it was. So like my stuff was back in place. I didn't like lose what I had built up at that point. So I way prefer CD Baby. I haven't had any issues with them so far. The other problem was even after all that bullshit happened and they took it down, um, I tried to cancel with them multiple times. Even still this year, they fucking tried to charge me again for their service. DistroKid, I have taken all my card information off of their site. I have messaged them repeatedly and said I am no longer like one of your customers, and they have still tried to charge me. I've had to go through my bank and block them as someone who can fucking take money from me because they still keep trying to take money from me even though I canceled their service forever ago because they fucked me over and took my music down and wouldn't respond. So I had no idea why my music was taken down.
Oh my god, that sounds like a nightmare.
It was like, and it still blows my mind. Like this was like, a few months ago I saw that they tried to charge me again. Like there was a charge in my bank account and I was like, what the fuck? They shouldn't even have my information anymore. I took it off their site and apparently they still have it. Like I don't know. I have no idea what that company is up to. I don't know. I can't understand it.
That's kind of creepy, and I'm kind of stressed out now.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean
No,
to.
not really.
Fuck.
But it would explain why our band name is still wrong on Apple Music.
Yep. Yeah, they're not the best company. The thing is, at first glance, especially as like new artists, like it sounds like the best deal for a new artist. Like,
And that's like what everybody I knew had gone through too. So it was like the most highly recommended one to use. People even said like stay away from CD Baby because they don't have the same features.
Right. But now that I'm with CD Baby, I mean, I'm not gonna try and convince you either way. If you're having a good experience with DistroKid, I'd stick with them. But if you do eventually, like, if you guys ever think about switching to CD Baby, I would recommend it. I think they do actually have a lot of features. So some of them are just a little more like there's a few things. What I like is CD Baby doesn't charge me an annual subscription like DistroKid does. DistroKid continues to charge you annually forever, and CD Baby, you upload it, you pay how much you want to pay to, they've got their different packages, but you pay to upload whatever it is that you're wanting to upload, and then that's it. You don't have to continue paying every year. Like it's uploaded, it's there.
Yeah.
You don't risk it getting taken down for weird payment issues or something.
I gotcha. All right. I'll
Yeah.
keep it in my mind. Keep it in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Pretty solid.
we're on the final question.
All right.
Can you believe it's been 2 hours?
I actually can't. I feel like the time has flown past. I like chatting.
So, my last question.
Okay.
Your future in the game. It's a little. I guess this is a bit of a loaded question for you. Just because like you're a streamer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, if your future ends, does the stream end? Do you switch games? Like, what happens? Like, so I guess my question for you is a bit more open ended. Like, Do you see
Mm,
your future in RS to be for a much longer period of time as long as the game's
yeah,
alive?
I do. I think I'm trying to bring more elements into my stream. I don't want to be only always locked on RuneScape just because it's I feel like it's better for my mental health to do different things, to change it up. Like I said earlier, I have a lot of interests. I like music and art, and so like lately I've been doing some cooking streams, and I have wanted to do variety games. My problem right now with variety games and stream is my PC can't handle much, so RuneScape really is the best for streaming on this PC.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, yeah, I want to do other things as well. I think RuneScape will always stay my main focus and my main game, but if I start feeling more burnt, later on when I've achieved more of my goals, I could see myself rotating the games more, or even maybe spending a week playing a different game that's super exciting to me, and then coming back. Like I could see it being more flexible. But I'll never ditch this game completely. I I love RuneScape too much. I'm addicted to this game. There's no way I could set it all the way to the side. Um, yeah, it's
I
definitely in the future.
love to hear it. And you know what, Molly, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Hell yeah, it's been so much fun. I've really enjoyed it.
And is there anything you want to ask me or say to anybody out there who may be listening before we sign off?
Uh, if you're thinking about starting a UIM, fucking do it. Send that shit. One of us. Fucking one of
Full
us.
send.
Yeah,
All
do
right,
it.
Molly, it's been a pleasure once again.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for the opportunity as well. And if you wanted to, like, I'm down to come on again, way in the future, and
that
maybe
is that
I'll
is
have
a
better answers.
that isn't always open option, right? Once I,
Hell
get
yeah.
into like the year, 2 year mark of this, I would love to have people
Mhm.
back and like have that like revisit on what we talked about before and like
Yeah,
where
yeah.
you're at now.
Cuz then I could answer a little better as well about like my favorite quests and stuff when I've actually done them all. And shit like that.
And
Yeah.
who knows? Next time we talk, golden gnome winner, Molly.
Oh, you never know. I
Your
wish.
your future YouTube channel gonna pop off. You're gonna be crazy.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'm going to put some time into that.
All right. Thank you, and thank you everyone for listening. Go ahead and drop Molly a Twitch primer if you haven't, or just a follow. Um, so on and so forth. Do you want me to link your Discord in the description too?
Uh, sure. Actually, could you do my Spotify?
Yes, I will absolutely. Your music is gonna be there too. Your music,
Yeah.
your Twitter, your high scores. You're the first person I'm ever not gonna put your temple up there.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
I just don't think we need to. After
Nah,
after the
yeah.
convo today, not necessary.
It's not. Yeah.
So unless you really want me to.
No, that's okay. I update my temple every once in a while, but I know people look at that shit to kind of gauge efficiency, and they will not have much to look at on that front, so we're good.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So, good night.
Good night.